Hey everyone, I'm Gary Hibner here, a YouTube guitarist here from South Africa, and in this video we're going to take a look at how to go low on a 4-string bass. So in my previous videos I've been using program bass. So that's a virtual instrument like Eurobass, and what I've done is I've gone in and programmed the bass with MIDI notes, and then I've lined those up with the guitar so that they tight and form a good production. But I've been wanting to get a real bass in my collection for quite a while. There's a few things that I've been looking for and why I haven't done it in the past, but what I've been doing is I've been looking for a bass with a longer scale, because the majority of basses are about 34 inches, and I found a 4-string 35-inch bass on the used market at a really good price, and the reason that this suited me well was that extra inch allowed me to tune down lower, because on my guitars I mainly tune down to drop a sharp, sometimes lower. And then also with the 4-string, it's got a narrower neck. Like with my baritone guitars, I'm using 6-string baritones, mainly because with the 7-string guitar, you've got a slightly wider neck, and I can sort of get around on a 6-string a lot easier than a 7-string. And the same with a 4-string bass, I really don't need that extra string, and I wanted a narrow neck. So to just show you the difference between a virtual bass and a real bass, on this track, I've got the Eurobass virtual instrument loaded up on here, and I've programmed in a bass part. This is what it sounds like. And then now this is the real bass, and it's got the exact same processing, but now it's the real bass. So as you can hear, you get much more detail in a real bass. For example, articulations like slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, and bends, these are very hard to program and get them to sound very real in a MIDI performance of a bass. So this bass is an Ibanez BTB200. So it is quite an older model, but it really suited me well. It's got the 35 inches and the 4 strings, and quite a nice narrow neck, easy to play. Now the trick was, how could I get low on a bass like this? I knew that the scale was long enough, so the next key thing that I needed to do was get the right string gauges. So what I did was I went for the D'Addario EXL 170 BT, which is a nice balanced set, which goes from a 45 to a 107. But what I did was I only used the 60, the 80, and the 107. So that's for the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string. And then for the low 4th string, I got a single 145 D'Addario string. Now with that thick string, it allowed me to get down to A sharp and A, and then the rest I had tuned with the rest of the strings. So that really was the key in trying to get this right, is choosing the right bass strings for the scale. So if you want to get a 4-string and tune it down lower like me, really the key is getting the right string gauges. So I chose the right string gauges, checked the tension, and then I took it to a luthier to get set up. So the nut needed to be filed down just to get that thicker string in, and then just check the intonation and everything on the guitar. So as you can see, that bass string is really thick on the 4th string there. After the nut, it tapers, so it's easy to get into the tuner peg, but like I mentioned, you're probably going to have to file that nut to fit that 145 onto the guitar if you're using a 145. So let's check what this sounds like within a full mix. I have beefed up the bass slightly so you can hear it more clearly, and this is using all stock stuff on the hardware on the instrument. After the playthrough, I'll talk about what processing I did to get the tone that I did on this bass. I'll catch you after the playthrough. Before jumping into the playthrough, let me just punt a few things. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm. And if you're new or you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click on the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Here we go. Okay, so that's what the bass sound like. It really is not that bad. So my recommendation to you is, if you're looking for a bass on a budget, check out on your used markets, see what basses are available. For my particular needs, I was looking for a bass with a 35-inch scale length neck and a 4-string. So check out in the used markets, see what you can find. There's generally good stuff going around and at really good prices. And then the key, obviously, like I said, was finding the right string gauge. So now let's jump in and see what processing I did in my DAW. Let me give you a quick run through here on the processing that I've done within my DAW on this bass. So I've got two tracks, a bass clean and a bass distortion. On the bass clean, I've got an EQ, and on the EQ, I've used a high cut and I've cut out all the highs all the way up to about 100 Hz. Then after that, I've added some compression in the form of this compressor over here, just to tame any peaks on the bass. And then I've added some slight saturation with the saturation knob. Then on the bass distortion, what I've done there is I've added in an amp simulator. And this is an emulation of a JCM 800 where I've dialed up the presence, pulled back the mid, and added some treble and some gain through the preamp. And after that, I've added another compressor over here just to tame any peaks on that bass as well. So what I'm left with is this bass tone. So that's the bass tone that I'm using currently. I'll probably do a future video where I'll get into more detail on how to do bass tones. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments below. So that's how to go low on a 4-string bass. On my side, I wanted a bass with 4 strings, 35-inch scale length neck, and tuned down to drop A sharp. And like I mentioned, the key things were the right string gauge and then a good setup. And then also a particular processing chain to get the tone that I wanted. So I hope that gives you some good ideas on how to go low on a 4-string bass. Maybe you've got a 4-string bass lying around and you can do the same things to go low, or you're in the market and you're looking for a 4-string bass and how to get low. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel or haven't already, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click on that notification bell to be notified of future videos. I'll catch you in the next one.